Hi, how are you? Thank you to Ed for inviting me to talk about Afrofuturism. I'm really excited about talking about it. It's a subject that doesn't get a lot of attention, so this is a good thing for me, definitely. I'm just going to say that I'm not used to scrolling through images while talking, so if I do a little hiccup, please excuse me. So before I discuss how Afrofuturism manifests itself visually, I will attempt to explain this complex theory. The term was coined by Mark Derry in his 1994 essay, Black to the Future. He writes speculative fiction that treats African American themes and addresses African American concerns in the context of 20th century technoculture and more generally, African American signification that appropriates images of technology and prosthetically enhanced future might be called Afrofuturism. I generally define Afrofuturism as imagining possible futures through a Black cultural lens. I see Afrofuturism as a way to encourage experimentation, reimagine identities, and activate liberation. It is a concept that encourages collaboration across disciplines. I find that most artists working with Afrofuturism often create with the use of a wide range of media. I like to use the jazz musician Sun Ra as an immediate example of Afrofuturism. Seen as a pioneer of this genre, Sun Ra is most known as the bandleader of the orchestra. He was also a jazz composer, musician, poet, and philosopher. He believed he was sent from Saturn as a cosmic messenger to spread love and peace. He did this by teleporting us through his music. Sun Ra stated in a documentary, "Every song I write tells a story that humanity needs to know about. In my music, I speak about unknown things, impossible things, ancient things, potential things." It is this story that Atlanta-based artist Kevin Sipp believes is told through what he calls the electric medicine wheel magicians. He writes, "All records are ancestral records full of infinite moments of possible remix. Despite the attempts of some to sever tomorrow from yesterday with narrowly defined notions of Afrofuturism, I seek to preserve the idea of Afroholism, where the past, present, and future forever mingle at the crossroads of creativity, sampling each other at will." He goes on to say, through shamanic vision, trance, ocular song, and aesthetic dance, the future is manifested. Kevin remixes symbols and rituals in his work, often honoring the DJ as a shaman. The DJ conjures visions of the future by rhythmically seducing out those ancient traditions within us. Seen in his Black Science Navigator record Prayer series, he draws upon African traditions such as Yoruba and mixes it with contemporary music such as dub reggae, symbolized by the Lion of Judah. He also references turntables by drawing mandala-like symbols that intersect at the third eye chakra on the forehead. In Buddhist and Hindu traditions, the mandala assists in trance and meditation. You see that those spiritual nodes of energetic power becomes places where many of his symbols sit. Another way he harnesses that power is through protruding nails. This is drawn from the Congolese Nikizi sculpture, which is used for communal healing and to ward off negative energy. In Kevin's installation, Sirius B-Boy here, he references the star system Sirius, which is a part of the Dogon's oral tradition. The Dogon, who are from Mali, talk about learning about this star system from the Nomos, who were amphibious beings like mermaids that came from Sirius B. This star is also called Emaya, which is quite similar to the Yoruba Orisha Yemaya, whose symbol is the ocean, and she is the mother of us all. The Yoruba religion is practiced mainly in Nigeria and has spread to the Americas, taking on various incarnations such as Candomblé or Santeria. It is important to point out that ancient African cosmology heavily influences Afrofuturism. The story of the Dogon illustrates how aliens and space travel has been a part of certain African traditions for centuries. The idea of the alien is a common theme in Afrofuturism. When we look at abduction through the slave trade or colonialism in Africa, where they were made to feel like aliens in their own home, we see how the development of various identities serve as a survival tactic. Chicago-based artist Christopher Franklin takes a close look at this survival tactic of shape-shifting by drawing upon sci-fi writer Octavia Butler's book, Wild Seed, where the main character, Anyan Wu, does exactly this to adapt to the new world that is filled with prejudices against her race and gender. She protects herself by taking on identities that are seen as powerful, such as a white man, or in this case, a lion. We see Butler also influencing Krista's most recent series, The Untold Legend of Naima Brown, Changeling. This three-part art installation illustrates the journey of the changeling, or shapeshifter, named Naima Brown. Naima can change into several identities: human, plant, and animal. When she shifts, she leaves traces of her transformation. In these prints, we witness evidence of the shift through the hair that is left behind during the transition and are archived by her best friend in handmade paper. This ability to move through physical manifestations creates a sense of freedom and liberation. Artist Denenge Akpem, also Chicago-based, sees this as a primary tool of Afrofuturism. She defines herself as a space sculptor, performance artist, and educator. She explains Afrofuturism as an exploration and methodology of liberation, simultaneously both a location and a journey. She goes on to say the creative ability to manifest action and transformation has been essential to the survival of Blacks in the diaspora. Denenge teaches a course at Columbia College called Afrofuturism, Pathways to Black Liberation. The course considers what Blackness and liberation looks like in the future by using various elements such as technology, African cosmology, and history to construct that future. Believing that the artist is alchemist, Denenge sees her work as portals that rework symbols to create a vision of liberation. She investigates the question, who controls the future? By combining sculpture's sound and performance, Denenge reminds us that we can control our future through imagination. It is in this realm we can transcend our present condition and are able to look beyond. And what does this future look like? Denenge says futurists believe in the power of a positive future for Blackness. It is that positive outlook that artist Bodis Isaac Kingelis relies heavily on. By creating utopian cityscapes of his home in Kinshasa and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Bodis reimagines the capital to reflect a utopian ideal. He says, I created these cities so there would be lasting peace, justice, and universal freedom. Using found objects, he creates what he calls architectural modernism, to transform a decaying city into a colorful Dr. Seuss-like environment that encourages a sense of awe and wonderment. Bodis' utopia is pristine without political strife. The idea of a utopia is common in Afrofuturism because it is generally believed the apocalypse has already happened through massive oppressive events such as slavery and colonialism. In November, I'm curating an Afrofuturist exhibition called My Mythos. I asked artists Denenge Akpem, Christopher Franklin, Alicia Wormsley, Stacy Pearl, and Ayana Moore to share mythologies they have created. When developing the exhibition, I kept thinking about Drexciya, an electronic music duo from Detroit that created the myth of the Drexian race. This race is made up of descendants of pregnant African women who were thrown overboard during the Atlantic slave trade. Drexciya became well known with their 1994 album, Aquatic Invasion. With songs like Wave Jumper, Hydro Theory, and Aqua Wormhole, their music is called from the sounds that emanate from the Aquatopia. And they recorded live in their studio, believing their music was a dimensional jump hole between their African heritage and their contemporary US-American life. The myth of Drexciya isn't far-fetched, since there are legends of men with gills walking up upon the shores of the Gullah Islands. This is a great example of how time has no barriers. Here, the technology of electronic music brings us closer to our ancestors. I believe this is an example of our superhuman abilities to transcend time and space while molding them simultaneously. Because Afrofuturism is used in the visual art of Kevin, Krista, Denenge, and Bodis, they are able to activate knowledge that already lies within us, spiritually and biologically. By awakening an Afrofuturist consciousness, we can move beyond this human realm. The fact that Afrofuturism embraces the unknown encourages the creation of futures without boundaries and recognizes the power to manifest that which is imagined. I believe, especially as someone who's from Detroit, this is essential in altering the here and now, thus providing direction into a brighter future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we're going to have a surprise for you. Melvin's going to have us leave out of here with a little music, but no, it's fun. The but is that I hope you appreciated this moment. I hope you appreciated the speakers. I hope you appreciated the effort that went into this. The Ed and Philip, the technical director, and the speakers, and Alexandra preparing the food for you with love, and 65 Finn, which you guys don't know because no one's here from 65 Finn, provide us here with the wine, and it's a collective. So in the future, if we're going to have some momentum with these TED events, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with TED events prior to this, but in the future, going forward, we want to have larger events, and the one in June is supposed to be a larger event. These are salons. It's fine to have them this size. Actually, if this room was full right now, it'd be a little warm, and we'd probably run out of food by now. And so it's great that we're working on this. But I'd like to progress with this, and I'm always looking for help to do this type of event. And hopefully, some of you met some people today that you might network with in the future. And hopefully some of you will work with me in the future as well. And I want to leave out of here with some music. All right.